the stock market, meaning companies, new highs.
I'm not fucking leaving. The show goes on. Nuts. They're nuts. They know nothing.
An online network called Internet.
Well, it's very hip to be on the internet right now.
Welcome, my degenerates! The rest of your life starts right now on Market Mania, presented by Kalshi. The no bullshit approach to all markets, including election betting, cryptocurrency, and the largest casino in the world, the U.S. stock market. We're back, baby! Big up to Kalshi for the lead sponsorship, and Elon the dog is a good boy. One note, if you want your pet to sponsor the show, please slide into the various DMs and let's do some business. Didn't know that was going to be a possible income stream of the show, but it is. Now, top story is Trump going on Joe Rogan today. Brett Ritchie, what you got on this big happening?
Yeah, so this has been in the works for a long time. I think probably since 2016 election, people are like, when is Trump going to go on Joe Rogan? And then it's never happened. So there's a lot of anticipation for this show. And I'm personally excited. I like Joe Rogan. I don't usually watch the full 3 hours. They have clips online. They're about maybe 15 or 20 minutes. So if it's an interesting guest, I'll usually watch, I don't know, between 10 to 30 minutes of their show. But with Trump, I'm going to watch the whole 3 hours or however long it ends up becoming, because I think it's going to be pretty interesting. And yeah, I like both Rogan and Trump. So yeah, I'm going to be in there.
Matt Glantz, do you, and this was posed online too, do you think, what do you think about this happening? And do you think Kamala could handle a 3 hour unscripted as Colin Rugg?
So I think it's a no-brainer for Trump or Kamala to go on to Joe Rogan. He's the number one podcast. She went on Call Your Daddy, which is probably the number 2 or number 3 podcast, which is, it's a very friendly show. But I think, I've watched Rogan for years. I don't think he's that confrontational with his guests. He might bring up some subjects they don't want to talk about, but he's really good at it. He does not make them feel uncomfortable. So I don't see why she won't go on. But so I think both of them should go on because it's a great show.
So I agree with you. Rogan, to me, he wants the guest to look good, or like he's not a gotcha ambush type of guy. We just lost Matt, but that's fine. He's not a gotcha ambush sort of interviewer. He's more of a chill guy. He's gonna, he wants to bring the best out of the guest. The reason Kamala's not going to do Joe Rogan, she can't talk for, hours on end without her handlers, without the teleprompter. I mean, she is really, I don't throw around the phrase empty shell lightly, but to me, vapid, I don't think she's good at this style of interview, I guess we could say. She's not, I don't think it helps her to sort of stumble through 3 hours of Joe Rogan, who's not, he wouldn't ambush gotcha her, but I don't think it would go well for her.
You know what?
I wonder, I think of Joe Rogan as pretty fair. I mean, Matt, do you think, I always think of him as balanced. And then I see people I see tweets that are oh, he's a right-wing supremacist. I mean, I always think of him as pretty open-minded and fair. I mean, is that,
yes.
No,
is that wrong? I mean,
Rogan is definitely fair. He might be a little too easily convinced of some conspiracy theories, but overall he's pretty fair.
Yeah.
I saw him reverse himself on the moon landing thing. He was anti-moon landing for a little while. Now he's back to okay, we probably landed on the moon.
Elon said we did, so that's good enough for me. If Elon was I don't know about that, then I would have some questions. Not that I'd blindly defer to Elon on every subject, but he is launching rockets, and so it makes sense that he would know more than I would.
95% of all tonnage sent to space by every single country is done by Elon and his private entity.
But he's an idiot. He's just an idiot bigot that doesn't know anything.
I'm battling with the guy that said, what was the Ken Oberman? I wish we would have put that one on there today, where the guy that said, all right, immediately seize all of Elon's companies and lock them away. He was taking phone calls from Putin. Lock him up.
Tony's poking me. He's poking me in the chest and asking. He wants to know do we think the markets will react to this interview?
We're going to have the Kalshi markets on Monday morning, of course, just to see what the whole weekend brings. So close to the election, I mean, I don't know, Brett. Do you think that this, like, I mean, I would say that it's not going to move that
the Rogan
much.
audience already is probably at least 60-40 for Trump going in. So I don't see this really moving the needle. I think that there's only downside, I guess, because I expect it to go well. I think it will go well. I think Trump, he's pretty good in these interview settings.
If I had to guess, Brett, I would say 90% of the time after the interview, his percentage goes from like 61% to 62 or 63, and then like 10% of the time he says something really bad or does something really stupid on the show, and he drops to like 50%. But that's about it.
I wonder if he'll bring up January 6th.
Likely.
I personally think the January 6th thing is Trump's weakest point. Is just like,
I don't think, dude, it was nothing. It's ridiculous. They just made it up.
It was nothing.
They made it up. It wasn't an insurrection. It wasn't an attempted coup. It was a bunch of random cosplaying LARPers roaming around the Capitol building. What they should have done is they said, "Oh, we're doing this for George Floyd," and then it's fine.
Guys,
you can burn down a building.
They just broke into the Capitol and tried to stop them from certifying the vote.
It's ridiculous.
Didn't know there was a beehive. Didn't know I was poking the old beehive right there.
It was,
but I think that's in terms of moving the markets. I think that if he goes weak on January 6th, or if Rogan goes hard, I think that could possibly move it negative. But I'm with you. I doubt that this moves it more.
This is straight coping from Brett Ritchie.
No, it's facts. It's look at the George Floyd riots. Compare it to the January 6th thing. Like, there's no difference other than how these people were treated by the criminal system.
We will be back for the January 6th Market Mania breakdown later on.
I wasn't out there demanding the people that burned down a building for George Floyd to be put in prison. I didn't care. That's fine. Let him go. That's fine. You got away with it. That's cool. That's fine. It was for a good cause. Same here.
Can I just say something in closing, Brett? The George Floyd, the protests, they have nothing to do with January 6th.
It's the exact same thing.
It's so different.
Speaking of prison,
they're the exact same thing, except one was blue team.
Speaking of hellish prisons
and police cars
that we have here,
your probation.
We have a great one right here. This is a great story that if anybody's not dialed in, and this is prison based. So a Nigerian court has released the Binance Executive that has been trapped there for like 8 months or the better part of a year. I'm not exactly sure how long.
Less than a lot of the January 6th protesters, peaceful ones too. Oh boy,
here we go. So there's Tigran that has been locked up in a Nigerian prison in what doesn't look like fun time conditions, recently released. And here's a video that Tony's going to play of him on some court meeting a month or 2 or 3 ago. This is fucked up. This is fucked up.
He's not even in handcuffs.
Well, he's on crutches. They probably beat him enough. They didn't need to cuff him.
The family said he had some bad back issue and then like needed surgery like even before he had like surgery scheduled or some such, according to the family. And they got him on one crutch. They won't help him into the courtroom. It was like some sort of a strange show trial shakedown, best that I could see. And so I tweeted yesterday about it's hard to, because Amir Tataki mentioned that this guy was involved in the Silk Road case and worked for the federal government in some way. So I'm like, okay, fuck this guy. Sorry, of course it's fucked up that Nigeria captured him and everything. But, if he was working against Ross, then it's hard for me to feel sorry for you. Andy Greenberg, who's a total boss and has been reporting tech stuff, especially kind of nerdy stuff. He was all over the Op Wall Street stuff and anonymous stuff back in the day, reporting what I thought was very fairly for a very long time on difficult tech issues. And he's been all over crypto for the last, decade or so also. And he said that Tigran wasn't really on the task force, maybe did some interviews and then also helped prosecute the corrupt cops that stole a bunch of Ross's coins and a bunch of the Silk Road coins. So, maybe the jury's out on him. He was a Binance executive.
What was his option with Ross, right? I mean, he's just kind of a grunt worker that this is your assignment, whether you said he should have taken that job in the first place, right? It's not like he was leading the charge, right?
Just like working for the Germans in the early 40s, it was just your job. It's just like January 6th, just like the Germans. It's all the same
thing. Has he been
thing.
Sitting in a Nigerian jail for 8 months?
Yeah, I think maybe even a little bit longer than
What
that.
did you do?
Two things to say about that. Number one, that's impressive that he held out for 8 months before giving his keys to the guards. That's really impressive. Because he finally gave the keys up. That's the only way he's getting out, right? The keys to the crypto. That's how it works.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Number two, I'm pretty sure that guy on the screen was the same guy that was sending me emails looking for my my bank account information. You know, those Nigerians. They're always sending emails.
Yeah, he's not a Nigerian. He was in the that's all right.
No, that guy,
I'm gonna accept
that was holding him.
Okay, all right, that could have been the scammer. Yeah, no, that could have been the
just
scammer,
like
the policeman. Okay, so very good. We're gonna accept it. This story is actually wild if you do dig into it. He was arrested along with a second dude who I guess was more local or understood the situation, and that guy just like quickly escaped prison and then got the next plane out of there somehow, some way. And I guess Tigran didn't do whatever backdoor deals he had to do to get out. And he, I guess, had a tough run the last year or so. Very interesting, and big shout out to Andy Greenberg.
Isn't it not obvious, Mike, when you're a crypto guy and you get held in a foreign prison that you just have to give up the keys to get out? That's the way it works? Do we not all know that?
Yeah, I don't know if I doubt he had the Binance hot wallet keys. I'm not sure if he had much to give up once.
I'm sure he had his own keys
in prison. Yeah, I'm sure he got a little bit of crypto. Maybe he had a little bit from the Silk Road. Maybe he had a couple of them Silk Road coins. He could have tossed them. I don't know.
Brett, how many months would it take you to give up those keys to those emoji coins?
Dude, I'll take those to the grave with me. My grandkids, they're going to love the emoji coins. Are you kidding me?
Well, Glance, you had better rest up now because it doesn't look like you are going to be getting that much sleep soon. New York Stock Exchange extending hours, 22 hours on weekdays. What do you think about this?
All right, this is crazy. People don't realize this, but for the last, I don't know, several years, stocks open for pre-market trading at 4 a.m. East Coast time, and they trade to 8 p.m. every day, weekdays. But now they're extending it, so you're open 22 hours a day. It's enough. I mean, I already get up at 4 in the morning every day. I'm sure it won't be very liquid at night. Hopefully things are moving at night because I don't really want to deal with this 24 hours a day, but it is what it is. And they got to make their money. So they're keeping it open. It should be really interesting how it changes the market. I don't think anybody realizes or knows what to expect in the future with this going on.
I mean, Brett, do the emoji markets ever close? Like, do you want to give them some tips?
They never close. You get used to sleeping in some bags, but like there's certain plays you make in crypto where you're like, I'm not going to sleep in this position. I know if I have a friend he'll stay up 30 hours in a row. He's doing a bunch of DeFi farming stuff, but he's like, I can't sleep in this farm, and he'll just stay up for 30 days. I typically, if it's going to give you anxiety or like, oh no, if you're a little too much in it, you can size into lesser amount or whatever. But you get kind of used to it. You're just. Hopefully you wake up to a fun surprise like Pregnant Man today. I woke up to a full double from buying it yesterday. So sometimes it works out in your favor too, the volatility.
Brad, we may have some new viewers that don't know what Pregnant Man are. You say
we'll get to that in the pick of the day. Don't you worry.
Okay, we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Well, I always thought that the traditional markets would move to 24-hour trading, but anyway, I mean stuff happens. Tony, the producer, is in. That means that we have to have something all fucked up and a crazy thing going on. There's no way that this is a normal story. Tony, what you got for us today?
Well, this just dropped, actually. The cease and desist, says Donald Trump on X. I, together with many attorneys and legal scholars, am watching the sanctity of the 2024 presidential election very closely because I know, better than most, the rampant cheating and skullduggery that has taken place in 2020 Democrats' presidential election. Okay, yeah, I love the use of the word skullduggery. So he's coming out and calling out all of the election shenanigans, which prompted the January 6th. Not an insurrection, just a little bit of a rowdy little riot. And I got to wonder, if we're going to have a totally good election this time around as well, because we're looking at Maricopa County here, mentioning that they're going to take 10 to 13 days to tabulate ballots after the election. Plenty of time for shenanigans there. This is breaking now, and in Pennsylvania, officials have busted a large-scale fraudulent voter registration scheme. This all looks very familiar to me. I personally don't have any faith in U.S. elections because of stuff like this. I don't know why we have election machines. I don't know why it's not all paper, hand counted in front of cameras, live streamed to anyone who wants to see it. This is so easy to fix, but the impetus isn't there because both sides like the cheating. So, leave this out there. But I mean, guys, what do you think? Am I crazy, or do we have the most secure elections ever? And I'm just talking about the big lie.
Well, number one rule of the cult, guys, is either Trump wins the election or he got cheated. That's the number one rule. If you're a cult member...
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I remember Al Gore got cheated. Hillary Clinton got cheated. Stacey Abrams got cheated for years. Hillary did a full 3-year media tour, how Russia stole the election from her. Suddenly Trump loses. He complains about being cheated, and that's the first time it's ever happened. Just random.
I mean, one, this is the weakest part of the Trump campaign, for sure. The weakest part of the Trump campaign is saying, like, okay, nothing's ever fair, like, and then he's tweeting in all caps. That's absolutely
I don't like the radical left. And all that is just very off-putting.
I will say this, that if there is widespread cheating, it has become a Republican talking point, it has become a Trump talking point that elections might not be fair. If there are actually shenanigans that go down, the left is going to shout that down. The left is going to say, this is bullshit.
Okay, now here's my question. I personally don't believe they're fair. A lot of people think it's just fine. But the real question is, have markets priced that in? Is that information being presented across all the markets, especially on Kalshi, our sponsor? Go to kalshi.com/Market Mania to support us and what we do. Also, like, subscribe, and comment. Now, my question, are the markets pricing this in, guys? What do you think? And then I'll get out of here and go to pick of the day.
I mean, Matt, you're looking at Pennsylvania. This is a DA that said this one. This is a DA, this particular tweet that's up there. An actual DA came out and they're like, yo, we got this scheme. I mean, you believe that, right? When a DA from a Pennsylvania county comes out and says, hey, there's some fake shit going on.
I would believe it if she provided the evidence. If she doesn't provide evidence, I don't know if I believe it. As long as I see evidence, I'll believe it.
I mean, there's a lot of crazy people in all levels of government on both sides. So,
sure.
The one thing I'll say is voter ID. The fact that people are against that because it's racist or whatever. When COVID was around, okay, white people had the vaccine more than other races. You had to show your card to go everywhere. So that was racist. The COVID vaccine ID was racist. I don't see how voter ID is possibly a racist thing. You have to use your ID to do almost all sorts of things. It seems like voting is important. I don't even understand the argument against it, honestly, other than one party thinks it helps them win elections.
Well, Mike, can I bring up the most important question of this topic?
Hit me.
Brett Ritchie, when you saw Trump tweet that, did you right away search for a skullduggery coin and look to buy it in the marketplace?
But that's funny. That's what gave me the idea for meme coins last almost a year ago.
Wouldn't that seem like a deal? Like that coin is going to skyrocket?
I think it's smart, right? Like a year ago, it came out that SBF was trading cans of mackerel in prison. And I'm like, oh, that's a coin, And I went and looked, and I bought 2 Mac coins that just launched right then, and they were both scams and whatever. But that was like the seed of like, there's something here with these meme coins, right? You're reacting in real time to like real events, internet culture.
That's what I'm asking you.
I'm sure there probably will be, based on like there's bots. There's all sorts of
jumping
bots.
Off the show, creating one of those skullduggery coins right now?
Because a lot of that's just scams. If it ain't an emoji, it ain't for me. 2024, 2025.
Do your own research. You got to get in the trenches, Matt. We got to explain to you how this works. If you want to find that skullduggery coin, you got to get in the Solana trenches.
I did buy Sotheby's banana coin.
Dig in the shitters. So, ladies and gentlemen, on that note, the safety glasses are on, and it is time for the Market Mania pick of the day.
Make the party rock, drop it like it's hot. Everybody stack, I'm stacking to the top.
Matt Glantz, what is your pick of the day?
Mike, my pick of the day is Moderna. Where is it now? $53 a share. This thing is beat to hell this year. I mean, it was triple digits not too long ago. This thing just keeps going down since COVID. Their mRNA vaccines haven't really done much. And look at that stock. Where was the peak? I mean, if you go back,
they gave people heart attacks or whatever.
During COVID, that thing was. Oh, look at it! It's destroyed. But I think we can buy it here, and it's a cheap shot in the market.
Are you thinking that this is possibly like next pandemic like play, or is it just like in general?
No. They just have good biotech technology that I want to like bet on. So we'll see.
All right, Moderna, ladies and gentlemen. Brett Ritchie, what is your pick of the day?
I like a good knife catch. My pick of the day is Pregnant Man, which is an emoji coin over on Solana. You can see that big red candle along with the green coming back up. I was waiting to knife catch it. It hit like 650K market cap yesterday. I don't know if you can show the market cap here, Tony. Does
it bother you that men can't get pregnant?
I mean, hey, you can't say that on a college campus, right?
Is that why you're buying the coin?
Well, so it's the second oldest emoji coin on Solana behind the Sun coin. Third is Lolana. I like all three of them. It's just a great coin, and it's like 1.5 million market cap now or so, which compared to the upside,
seven-figure market cap. That's when you
like
know
this is a blue chip emoji coin, right? So in a world like what I'm betting on is that emojis get hot within the Solana streets at some point later this year, next year, right? These market caps are all extremely cheap compared to other vectors on Solana. So,
one quick question, Brett. If the woke left proves that men can get pregnant in the future, does this coin moon?
Yeah, honestly, I think this has 100x upside from here, if not higher, 1,000x. This could be $1 billion coin if the right. I'm not saying it's likely, but it's what I'm betting on. These long shots.
In a world where emojis are up next and Brett Ritchie nailed the bottom here, and emojis like become the new Solana meme coin meta, then I cannot wait to see Glance's face during the show. I can't wait.
I'll be so happy for
Pregnant
Brett.
Man
That's for sure.
At like 50 million cap, and we're just like, see, Glance, what do you mean?
50
You
million
need 400 million to ape in here? You could have just like clicked in a couple of K, you know?
Matt, if men can get pregnant, I will pay any amount of money for you to carry Mycon's baby. It will be the Kwisatz Haderach of investment. We got to do this. All right, I had a pick of the day today as well. Kwisatz Haderach, yeah, nerd reference. I'm picking McDonald's. All right, this one has been taking a pounding recently because of a quarter pounding, if you will, because of the recent E. coli news, and I think it also Trump showed up and it had a bunch of bad news written about it. So it had some serious down candles over the last week, but it's a good company and it's down just a little bit. And I also think there's going to be a broader "Make America Healthy Again" narrative where they switch to tallow instead of seed oils, and when that happens, I mean, if Trump can come in and fix McDonald's, I think that's a good start, and I think we can have some outward fixes from there. So McDonald's is my pick. I'm out of here.
I love buying the dip on a great company on real bad news like the E. coli thing. I think it's smart.
E. coli, he's aping in. My pick of the day is going to be MindMed. This is a fun time, publicly traded, not actual company. Of course, they don't make money yet, but they do like mushrooms and stuff, like magic mushrooms, psilocybin mushrooms research, and I think some other stuff. I really haven't really researched it, but I love a 400 million cap company that's trying to use those psychedelics to fix the PTSDs and all sorts of stuff. I think it's good stuff. I think there's a lot in there, and like we don't really fuck with them yet. So that does it for one more Market Mania. We are charging towards the election special on November 5th. Remember, it's going to be Helmuth, Mattisau, Bart Hansen, all sorts of fun time friends are going to be there. And we're going to leave you today with one from a modern day poet that we like to highlight once a show. This one is from Nipsey Hussle, R.I.P., and it's from Grindin' All My Life. It goes a little something like this. All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrificed, hustle, paid the price. Want a slice? Got to roll the dice. That's why all my life, I've been grinding all my life. Like and subscribe to this show on the YouTube, and share this and heart this on the X at Market Mania Show. Keep us on the air. That's it for today. We will see you tomorrow, if there is a tomorrow. But for now, it's lights out.
Come on, I never sleep if I don't have my medicine. Come on, I never sleep if I don't have my medicine. Come on, I never sleep if I don't have. I never sleep. Come on, I never. never sleep if I don't have my medicine.
Time to right the wrong. So your hands in the air if you like the song. If you're going over there, take it twice as long. Last time ain't talking about Tylenol. Oh, I bet you'd like to know. You can come around the way if you're trying to go. If you want to switch lanes for a pot of gold or a domino, out of control. The usual. Get mad cause I'm looking at your girl.
Switch it up.
I do it so much louder than everything you've heard. Everybody heard at the word that the world wasn't turning. Act like you're in a jury of how we're turning, we're how we're turning. Can't lie like it's Mississippi burning. Don't act like you're in a daze. I imagine it look the other way. Couldn't clear space on my mind, was afraid of the time. Strobe light flicking